If your thumbnails are great, but your content is garbage, you will fail. So should you give up on thumbnails? Hell no. You have a title for a reason. I'll prove it to you. Which video do you want to watch? This article literally shows that in 0.2 seconds, your brain will choose the images it wants to watch. No time for reading, 1 word maximum. When I come home from work and turn on my TV to watch YouTube, I don't want to be reading words. I want to relax, find some funny video, and spend the time that way. Depending on the occasion, 1 or 2 words may be okay if the images themselves poorly describe the video, but try to limit those words to very, very, very little. This is because natural human instinct is to recognize images incredibly fast. Like you finding this tiger instantly in this image. But when was the last time you got killed for not finding a word in a puzzle game? I thought so. The fastest growing YouTuber has put in a lot of effort to make his thumbnails. Look at that. Just 4 words total in the last 10 videos. Just 4. It's because Jimmy creates great thumbnails following my checklist, so he doesn't need text in the thumbnails to get views. Maybe if I started posting like that, I'd get the same amount of views. Alright, I get it. You want me to move along? Familiarity. You probably observe familiarity, but you just didn't fully grasp it. People lean into what they already know. Like, would you rather have $1 million in cash or $1 million in NFTs? If you have no clue what an NFT is, you probably chose cash. And if you're watching 20 years into the future, please don't arrest me for clicking on the image. Please, please, please. To be familiar, most thumbnails use a face. If you watch the creator multiple times, that face will be burned into your eyelids over and over. This, however, does not need to be a face. There are other symbols that people recognize. Think of patriotism. What do you see? I see an American flag. Not a person saluting, not a US president, the American flag. That's a symbol that everyone recognizes. So, in the very, very, very rare case you're making a video about patriotism, to explain this scientifically, people's minds are hardwired to lean on what they know and understand. Because familiar things, food, music, activities, surroundings, and more make us feel comfortable. From an evolutionary perspective, it makes sense that familiarity breeds liking. Generally speaking, things that are familiar are likely to be safer than things that are not. If something is familiar, we have clearly surveyed exposure to it, and our brain recognizes this, steers us towards it. Familiarity is about using that human genetics to your advantage. Everyone does it. That's why ads work, and why after watching the James Bond movie, you go out to buy that fancy watch. If everyone else uses human genetics, why can't you capitalize off of it, even the playing field? Welcome back to the reviewing couch. Now familiarity is everywhere and easy to find. There's a face, and there's a face, and you get a face, you get a face, and boom! Now some YouTubers don't need faces. They use things people recognize themselves. Like look at Peter McKinnon. He uses his face sometimes, but also cameras sometimes, and sometimes photos. And all the photographers who watch his videos recognize that crisp Peter McKinnon style photo that he takes and go and click on it. Now that you made the thumbnail familiar, spice things up in there. If everything is always the same, people get bored. I'm getting bored in this seat. This shirt is also boring. Curiosity helps us adapt and learn and improve our life as a whole. When you make a thumbnail, you have to balance curiosity and familiarity. As you must just go evenly on the scale. It's like coming into class at college. Some parts you already know, and some you have to learn. It would be impossible to take algebra without knowing multiplication. How boring would it be to take a multiplication class after taking algebra? Come on. Curiosity differs greatly depending on the video, but a few common examples would be to blur out certain numbers. So people have to watch the video to find out just how much money you spent that year. Sometimes creators will bring more of the curiosity out of the thumbnail into the title, and that's also okay. For example, this video by Veritasium Veritasium, shows something weird with the basketball. So I would be curious why such an effect happens. MKBHD does a great job of making people curious about his thumbnails. Just his last video, there's a number in the title, 1.99. What does that mean? Well, I'm curious right away. What the heck does that mean? But it works with the title so well. Is 1.99 a lie? Or is it the truth? Or what's the lie? Now I'm curious, see? I'm curious. And I want to click on that video, and I did click on the video to figure out what 1.99 actually means. Now it's time for the body of the thumbnail. The information that your thumbnail shows about the video. See, without any information, you get this. What's the video about? I don't know. While a title can have a big part of explaining the video, the thumbnail should show some hints into the video itself. Some creators have a lot easier of a time to bring a lot of information into their thumbnails, and for others, it's a lot harder. But know this, if you're able to get a good balance of curiosity, familiarity, and information, your thumbnail will succeed. Welcome back to the Couch of Reviewing. Now this session is gonna be super important. See, when you make a thumbnail, best practice is to get the most from the camera itself, and least edit it in afterwards. No company logo somewhere on the sides, in white boxes especially. No photoshopped images, nothing of that sort. All raw from the camera. If you try to do all raw, there are certain challenges that come up. And I found a few examples of people who were able to symbolize something incredibly well. One way Shelby Church did is by putting an Amazon box in their thumbnail, which represented a strategy to make money on Amazon. The added benefit was, now I'm curious. What's in the box? What's the strategy? It makes me curious, so curious, I clicked on the video and watched it. In one of Graham Cracker's videos was a big, strong man behind him with a red outline, and it symbolizes strength, power, money, wealth, and it works so well with a title, Meet the $250,000 Man. MKBHD. I've seen a lot of thumbnails that look like this, with a whole bunch of stuff just laid out, showing what's in my camera bag, tech bag, camping bag, other bags, so many bags. Anyway, it's a good thing, because you cannot see the exact objects that are laid out, but it gives you information about what they are, and it leaves you curious. What is that thing that's there? What does it do? What's its purpose? So, what does it mean to have a bright background? It all comes down to making our thumbnails stand out. I prefer dark mode. So if the background is dark, which video stands out more? The dark thumbnail or your light thumbnail? That's all I meant by bright background. But that's not it. You thought that was it? A bright background won't always pop. Try using bright colors or more saturated ones. Make sure the color spreads all the way out and your subjects are big and easily visible. Welcome back to the Reviewing Couch. For the final time, let me talk about what YouTubers make their thumbnails pop. Now the best example I found was Linus Tech Tips, or LTT. In his thumbnails, there'll always be bright colors, yellows, oranges, reds, and there'll be so many gradients. And on a dark background, they just pop out. They catch our attention, have you look in that direction, seeing what it is. It's simplistic enough that it's not too much information in it, but also the colors just add a slight pop that makes them stand out from all the white background thumbnails. Now that you finished all 5 steps, my final suggestion is to take the time and finalize it. If just one small detail is out of place, the viewers will notice it. There's no point spending many hours on a video just to have a crappy thumbnail in it. This video's thumbnail also follows the 5-step checklist. No text? Check. Is it familiar? Well, no one knows me, but these creators, they should. So, check. Curiosity. Why is this the best thumbnail? Check. But I should focus on improving my curiosity for later videos. Is there information? Easy check. And finally, does it pop out? Step 5 is most subjective. So what do you think? Check or no check? I vote check. If you want a 30-second video to look at while you finish your thumbnails, here's the link. Just bookmark it or save it, email it to yourself, whatever you need. And then, finally, give this video a like, subscribe, and peace out, comrades.